Okay, so if you've ever looked into a vocational school, whether it's for cosmetology, aesthetics, or really any skilled trade, you know how confusing it can get, right? You're just trying to start a real career, and suddenly you're drowning in all this jargon. And for years, the biggest, most confusing thing for everyone, students, parents, even high school counselors, has been accreditation. For decades, this was the question, the one everyone told you to ask. It felt like your entire future hinged on this single choice, and if you got it wrong, well, your career could be over before it even started. But what if I told you that whole question is completely obsolete now?
Yep, you heard that right. In 2020, the federal government officially threw out the old rulebook. The distinction that pretty much shaped how we judge schools for generations, it was just formally dismantled. It created a brand new level playing field. So what exactly happened? Let's get into it.
To really understand why this change is such a big deal, we gotta go back and look at the old myth that was running the show for so long. So, this was the story everyone believed. Regional accreditation was painted as the prestigious gold standard, for traditional four-year universities. And national accreditation, that was seen as the category for career colleges and hands-on trade schools. This basically created a false hierarchy, making it seem like one type of education was just automatically better than the other, without ever really looking at the quality of the teaching itself. And get this, it wasn't just a hunch people had. The U.S. Department of Education itself called out this flawed system. They said, look, this whole divide isn't really about educational quality. It's about prestige. And that prestige was being used to put up walls for students, like unfairly denying credit transfers if you came from a national school. It was basically punishing students for choosing a career-focused path. So the federal government didn't just criticize the old system. They went in and actually changed the rules to fix it. And we're not talking about some small tweak here. This was a fundamental shift in how education policy works in the U.S. This timeline shows just how definitive the change was. The whole framework got started way back in 1965, but the real game-changing date is July 1st, 2020. That's the day the new federal rule kicked in, officially ending the government's recognition of a separate regional category. And they're not even done. They're now pushing to stop agencies from even using that misleading regional label anymore. Now, to see the whole picture, you have to know about something called the triad. Just think of it like a three-legged stool for quality control. You've got the federal government at the top, giving the thumbs up to the accreditors. Then you have the state governments, which license the schools, and this is key, license you. And finally, you have the private accrediting agencies themselves. Okay, so here's the most important takeaway. Under the current federal law, the Department of Education holds every single one of its recognized accreditors to the exact same high standards. Those old labels, regional or national, they're just irrelevant to the federal government now. This completely levels the playing field, and it means that innovative, career-focused schools are finally judged on their actual quality, not some outdated idea of prestige. So if accreditation is now a level playing field, what's the one thing that really matters for your career? Well, the answer isn't at the federal level with accreditors. It's at the state level. See, accreditation is something a school chooses to do. State licensure, on the other hand, is a mandatory, legal requirement for you. It's the official permit from your state government that says, yes, this person is competent and safe enough to work with the public. Plain and simple. Without that license, you can't legally work. And these state requirements are totally non-negotiable and super specific. Take Kentucky, for example. The State Board of Cosmetology requires a student to complete exactly 1,500 clock hours of training, not 1,499, 1,500. That's not a suggestion from a school. That is the law of the state. This slide really breaks down the whole journey. And notice a pattern here? The key word is state, 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 and state. You go to a state-licensed school, you complete your state-mandated hours, and you pass the state's official exams. That old accreditation label your school might have, it plays zero role in this legal process. Okay, so if the old regional versus national scorecard is officially in the trash, what should you be using to judge a school? Let's build a new one, a smarter one, based on what actually gets you a job and launches your career. Here it is. First up, licensure pass rates. This is the ultimate test, isn't it? Does the school actually prepare its students to pass that all-important state exam? Next, and this is huge, student debt risk. Look, heavy debt can kill a career before it even gets off the ground. The absolute gold standard here, a school that has a model to help you graduate debt-free. And finally, safety and sanitation. Your state board inspects schools to make sure they're safe. A clean report shows you they're true professionals. All right, let's take that new scorecard and turn it into a practical checklist. These are the questions you need to be asking on your next school tour.
These 4 questions cut right through all the marketing fluff. The pass rate tells you if they're effective. The total cost reveals your real financial risk. Asking about hour tracking proves their integrity. And that state inspection report, it shows their commitment to your safety. So seriously, don't be afraid to ask these. A great school will be proud to give you the answers.
This quote just nails it. The goal isn't just a diploma with some fancy, outdated logo on it. The real goal is getting that professional license that actually launches your career, and doing it without being buried in debt from day one. So as you make your choice, that's the final question you really need to ask yourself. Are you paying for a meaningless, outdated label? Or are you investing in a school that is laser-focused on the one thing that truly, truly matters, preparing you to pass that state board and earn your license to work?